My fingers went numb around the frosting spatula. 8:47 a.m. on my 21st birthday, and I was standing in our kitchen staring at the text message that just lit up my mom's iPad on the counter, the one she'd left charging, the one she always forgot to lock. Flight boards in 20. Can't wait to finally relax without the birthday drama. 5 days of peace. My sister Emma's reply sat right beneath it. Seriously, Lila's been so needy lately. This week is exactly what we need. The 3-tier cake I'd spent 4 hours baking last night, half vanilla, half chocolate, decorated with hand-piped flowers because I wanted it to be perfect, sat on the counter behind me. The candles I'd arranged in a careful circle. The Happy 21st Birthday Lila banner I'd hung at midnight after they'd all gone to bed, still believing tomorrow would matter. My vision tunneled to that glowing screen. I could taste copper. The kitchen lights seemed too bright, the silence too loud. Outside, I heard an engine start. Dad's BMW pulling out of the driveway at 8:48 a.m., exactly when my birthday breakfast was supposed to begin. They were already gone. My name is Lila, I'm 21, and I'm a graphic designer. This is the story of how I learned that silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. I stood there for exactly 3 minutes, watching that text thread, my breathing shallow and controlled. Then I did something I'd never done before. I screenshotted everything, every casual dismissal, every "she'll understand," every "just 5 days like my birthday was an inconvenience they needed vacation time to escape." The garage door was still open. I walked through it slowly, methodically, and saw what they'd left behind. My birthday card, still in its unopened envelope on the workbench. The gift bag from Aunt Susan that had arrived yesterday, shoved behind paint cans. Even the grocery list I'd written for my birthday dinner, Lila's favorites, crumpled in the recycling bin. I picked up that list, smoothed it out, folded it carefully, and put it in my pocket. Then I went back inside and started making calls. The first one was to Marcus Chen, my dad's business partner and the one person who'd always treated me like I had a functioning brain. "Marcus, it's Lila Carter. I need advice about something legal." His voice shifted from friendly to focused. "What's going on?" "Hypothetically," I said, my voice steadier than my hands, "if someone's been using another person's credit history without full disclosure, and that person wanted to protect themselves financially, what would be the first step?" Long pause. "Lila, is this about your parents?" "Hypothetically." Another pause. Then, "Come to my office. Bring documentation. We'll handle this properly." An hour later, I arrived at Marcus's office downtown, my folder of bank statements clutched against my chest. By 10 a.m., I was sitting in his conference room with printed statements I'd been quietly collecting for months, ever since I'd noticed my credit score dropping despite never missing payments. Turns out, my parents had been listing me as a co-signer on their business loans without telling me. My name, my liability, their spending. Marcus's face darkened as he reviewed the papers. "This is financial abuse, Lila. You could file charges." "I don't want charges," I said quietly. "I want separation. Clean, legal, permanent." He nodded slowly. "I can do that, but it'll take time." "I have 5 days," I said. "They're in Miami until Sunday night." Something shifted in his expression. Respect, maybe, or recognition. "Then we'd better work fast." What happened next wasn't dramatic. It was surgical. Marcus connected me with a financial advisor who walked me through every account, every authorization, every legal entanglement. By noon, I'd filed to remove myself as a co-signer on their business loans. By 2 p.m., I'd transferred my savings from our joint family account, the one they'd convinced me to open for emergencies, into a new account at a different bank. By 4 p.m., I'd changed my direct deposit information for my design freelancing work. The money they'd been casually borrowing from, gone. The credit line they'd been using for family expenses, frozen. The automatic payments I'd been covering without realizing, stopped. I didn't do it out of spite. I did it out of self-preservation. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel something shift inside me with every signature, every form, every, "Are you sure?" that I answered with an unwavering yes. That night, I sat in my childhood bedroom. the one with concert posters and art prints I'd designed, the one that suddenly felt like a museum of someone else's life. And I opened my laptop. For 2 years, I'd been building a portfolio of graphic design work, logos for friends' businesses, social media graphics, custom illustrations. My parents called it a hobby. My dad once said, "It's cute that you're creative, but you need a real career plan." I spent the next 6 hours setting up an online store. Premium designs, custom artwork, prints, professional, polished, priced fairly. By midnight, it was live. By 1 a.m., I had my first sale, a wedding invitation template to someone in Portland I'd never met. I stared at that payment received notification until my eyes blurred. Strangers believed in my work more than my own family did. The second day, I woke up to 17 orders. By afternoon, 32. I worked through the day in a haze of designing, messaging clients, packaging files. My phone buzzed constantly with notifications, and each one felt like oxygen. I barely ate. I definitely didn't sleep, but I also didn't cry. Around 6 p.m., I walked downtown to clear my head and found myself standing outside a co-working space I'd passed 100 times. The one with floor-to-ceiling windows and people hunched over laptops, building things that mattered. I walked in, rented a desk for the month, set up my equipment. The guy at the desk next to mine, mid-30s with architectural blueprints spread everywhere, glanced over. "New here?" "Brand new to everything," I said. He grinned. "Best time to start." On day 3, I checked my parents' social media. Mom had posted a sunset photo from their hotel balcony. Sometimes you just need to disconnect and recharge. No obligations, no stress. Pure peace. I read it 3 times. Then I commented, "Looks beautiful. Enjoy every minute. You deserve this break." I meant every word. They did deserve it, because they were going to need that peace when they came home. Day 4, I got a call from the mortgage company. "Ms. Carter, we're calling about the missed payment on the Oak Street property." "I'm sorry," I said calmly, "but I'm no longer an authorized party on that account. You'll need to contact Robert and Patricia Carter directly." Silence. "But you're listed as the primary contact." "I was. I've withdrawn my authorization. The paperwork should be in your system by now." More silence. Then, "I see. We'll contact the other parties." "Perfect," I said. "Thank you for calling." I hung up and exhaled slowly. This was happening, really happening. By day 5, I'd moved 40% of my belongings into a small studio apartment I'd rented across the street from our house. Close enough to watch, far enough to be free. The furniture I'd bought with my own money over the years went with me. I'd kept meticulous records in a spreadsheet, tracking every purchase down to the throw pillows. The rest I left behind, exactly as it was, like a museum exhibit titled Before. That night, I sat on my new balcony with cheap wine and expensive relief, watching their house through the window. Dark, quiet, waiting. When their SUV pulled into the driveway Sunday night at 9:17 p.m., I was ready. I watched Mom get out first, tan and relaxed, laughing at something Dad said. Emma followed, scrolling through her phone. They walked inside. I counted to 60. Then I heard it. Mom's voice, shrill and confused, echoing across the quiet street. Robert, where's the couch?" I donated it yesterday, along with the TV, the dining table, the decorative items they'd bought with money from my credit line. Every single thing I'd technically paid for, gone. Everything they'd bought themselves, still there. It was a small apartment, but I'd made it work. Dad's voice carried next. "What the hell happened here?" I took a sip of wine, waited. 10 minutes later, Mom appeared on the sidewalk, looking up and down the street like she'd been robbed. Then her eyes landed on my new apartment, on the familiar couch visible through my lit windows. Her face went white. She speed-walked across the street, heels clicking, and I buzzed her up before she could even ask. When the elevator opened, she stood there, breathing hard. "Lila, what did you do?" "I moved out," I said simply. "Happy birthday to me." You took our furniture." "My furniture," I corrected. "The furniture I've been unknowingly financing through the credit accounts you opened in my name." Her mouth opened, closed. "We were going to tell you about those." "When? After I graduated college?" Oh wait, that was 3 years ago. After I turned 21? That was 5 days ago, but you were busy. I kept my voice level, almost pleasant. Lila, you're being dramatic. Mom, I stepped closer. You left before sunrise on my birthday without saying goodbye. You group texted about how my birthday was drama you needed a vacation from. You spent 5 days posting about peace and freedom while I was here untangling myself from your financial mistakes. She went pale. You saw those texts? I saw everything. I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshots. Every casual dismissal, every complaint about me being needy for wanting my own family to acknowledge my existence. For the first time in my life, my mother had no response. Behind her, the elevator dinged. Dad stepped out, face red. Lila, this is ridiculous. You think you can just steal from us? I didn't steal anything, I said calmly. I removed myself from your accounts and took back what was legally mine. If you'd like to dispute ownership of any item, I have receipts, timestamps, bank statements showing exactly which purchases came from my earnings versus yours. He faltered. Also, I continued, Marcus Chen sends his regards. He's very interested in how my name ended up on those business loan documents without my signature. Dad's face shifted from angry to panicked. Marcus doesn't. We can explain that. I'm sure you can. Explain it to your lawyer, though, not to me. Emma appeared in the doorway, eyes wide. Lila, come on, we're family. Exactly, I said, looking at all three of them. We're family, which is why you thought you could use me without asking, take from me without telling me, leave me behind without caring, because family means I'd always forgive you, right? Silence. I'm not asking for apologies, I said quietly. I'm telling you how this works now. My name comes off every account, every loan, every document. You pay your own bills, make your own decisions, build your own credit, and if you ever need something from me again, you ask, like I'm a person, not a resource. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Sweetheart, we never meant. Yes, you did. My voice cracked for the first time. You meant every bit of it. You just didn't think I'd notice. I walked to the door, held it open. Go home. Sit in your empty living room. Think about what you actually value. And when you're ready to treat me like a daughter instead of a credit score, you know where to find me. They left without another word. That night, I stood on my balcony watching their house. Lights on now, shadows moving behind curtains. 3 people who'd finally realized what they'd lost. I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired. But I also felt something I'd never quite experienced before. Free. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. This is Marcus. Proud of you, kid. Let me know if you need anything. I smiled, typed back. I'm good, but thank you. For the first time in 21 years, I actually meant it. The weeks that followed were strange. Not bad strange, just different. My online store kept growing. 50 orders became 100, 100 became 300. I hired a friend from design school to help with fulfillment. We worked from my tiny studio apartment, shipping packages and laughing about how we used to dream about this exact moment. Within 3 weeks, Marcus confirmed that all my financial entanglements were officially severed. Every account closed, every authorization revoked, my credit file clean. My parents had to scramble to cover the mortgage themselves and refinance their business loans without my name attached. My parents tried texting. Small things at first. Hope you're well. Saw your website. It looks nice. I responded politely but distantly. Thank you. I'm doing fine. Emma tried harder. She called one Tuesday afternoon. Can we get coffee? I hesitated. Why? Because I miss my sister. The next day, we met at the coffee shop downtown, the one with overpriced lattes and terrible Wi-Fi. She looked different, smaller somehow, less certain. I'm sorry, she said before I even sat down. I'm sorry for the texts, for being part of that whole thing. Which thing? I asked, not unkindly. The birthday thing? The Lila's so needy thing? The years of treating me like I was invisible? She flinched. All of it. I sipped my coffee. What changed? You did. She looked at me directly. You stopped waiting for us to notice you and just built your own life. And it's kind of terrifying how well you're doing without us. That's what happens when you stop waiting for permission to exist, I said. She nodded slowly. Mom's a mess. Dad won't admit it, but he's scared you'll actually press charges. I won't, I said. Not because they deserve mercy, but because I'm done carrying their weight. Can I ask you something? Emma's voice was quiet. How did you know? About all the financial stuff? I didn't. Not until I looked. I met her eyes. That's the thing, Emma. I stopped assuming they'd protect me and started protecting myself. You should try it sometime. She swallowed hard. I want to fix this. Then start by paying your own rent, I said gently. Build something that's yours. Stop letting them make you smaller so they feel bigger. She left crying, but I think they were good tears, the kind that mean you're finally seeing clearly. Mom called 2 weeks later. Can I see you, please? That afternoon, we met at Riverside Park on neutral ground under open sky. She sat on the bench looking older than I remembered. I've been thinking about your birthday, she started. Don't, I said. I don't need you to explain it. I need to say it anyway. Her voice was shaking. I was jealous of how independent you were, of how you didn't seem to need us. And instead of being proud, I resented it. So I pulled away, and I took your dad and sister with me. I stared at her. You were jealous of me? Terrified, actually. She wiped her eyes. You were building this whole life without us, and I didn't know how to fit into it. So I convinced myself you didn't want me there. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. Then, you could have just asked. I know. She nodded. I'm asking now, not to come back, not to fix everything, just to start over, slowly. I thought about it, about the birthday that started everything, about the silence that taught me who I was. Okay, I said finally, but we do this on my terms. No more credit lines, no more unannounced plans, no more assuming I'll just understand. Deal, she said. We didn't hug, we didn't cry. We just sat there on that bench, two people figuring out how to be family for the first time in years. 3 months later, I was standing in my first real gallery showing. 12 of my designs printed large, framed professionally, displayed under soft lighting. My parents came. Emma came. They stood in the back, quiet, watching strangers buy my work for prices I'd never imagined charging. When it was over, Dad approached me carefully. This is incredible, Lila, really. Thank you, I said. I should have said that years ago, he admitted. I'm sorry I didn't. He hesitated, then added quietly, Marcus helped me sort out the loan situation. I paid penalties to get your name removed properly, and we restructured everything. It's done now, clean. I looked at him. This man who'd spent my whole life telling me to be practical, be realistic, be smaller. You can start saying it now. He nodded. I will, I promise. That night, back in my studio apartment, bigger now, filled with art and plants and evidence of a life I'd built from scratch, I stood at my window looking at their house across the street. The lights were on. They were home. But I was home too, and this time I'd built it myself. My phone buzzed, an order notification, then another, then a message from a gallery in New York asking about representation. I scheduled a call with them for next week, my calendar suddenly full of possibilities I'd created on my own terms. I smiled, closed my laptop, and whispered to the quiet apartment, "Happy birthday to me." It was February now, 4 months since that morning, 4 months since everything changed, and I'd never been more sure of who I was. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.